This show is brought to you in part by viewers like you who joined a Patreon or become YouTube members. Thank you. And if you could, hit the like button and subscribe if you want more Browns-focused content. The Browns play on national TV tonight, Monday Night Football versus the Denver Broncos. And the question that everybody is asking is, do the Browns have a chance to win? The short answer is yes. The long answer is yes, but it's definitely not going to be a easy victory to pull out. The Broncos are a 7-5 football team. It would appear that the last 3 weeks they've been playing their best football. Losing by 2 points to Kansas City, beating the Falcons by 32 points, and then beating the Raiders last week by 10 points. A big part of how the Broncos are playing and the amount of football that they're playing well is quarterback play, right? Bo Nix was rather pedestrian to start off the year. His first 9 starts had about 1,700 yards, 8 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Not like amazing numbers, but not great numbers, right? Then you look at these last 3 weeks and he's had an explosion of production. He's been really hot these last 3 weeks. He's had 795 yards in 3 weeks, 71% completion percentage, 8 touchdowns, no interceptions. He's also only been sacked about 4 times. So it seems like he's getting clean pockets. He's getting able to play with clean pockets. And when he's not disruptive, he plays really good football. So we'll see what the Browns can do to kind of disrupt Bo Nix. Obviously, Myles Garrett will be a big part of that. Before we get into strategy, let's talk about who the Browns will and won't have for this game, because the Browns will be without very many people. I know Riley Moss is a player that the Denver Broncos will be without, and that's going to be a big loss for them for sure. But the Browns will be without a handful of players as well. Yep, the Browns are without Miles Harden, which isn't a big deal. Sam Kamara, which isn't a big deal. Cedric Tillman, which is a pretty big deal here. Juan Thornhill and Jedrick Wills, who basically isn't on the team anymore. I know Jed's had some injury report woes as of late, but I just get the vibe that he's not going to play again, right? This is 2 weeks in a row. My man's had like a month to come back from what was a minor setback from his knee injury. And then on top of that, like, has had 2 opportunities to start with extended time. Like, yeah, I think what we're getting from Jed is he ain't on the team, but he still, got a key pad to get in the building and all of that. But I don't think he work here anymore. That's my best bet on this whole Jed Wills thing, because it's honestly gotten to the point to where it's pretty weird. But anyways, Cedric Tillman, Juan Thornhill being out. We know what the replacement for Juan Thornhill is going to be. It's going to be Ronnie Hickman, who stepped in multiple times for Juwan Thornhill and has done a fine job in step-in duty. That's another undrafted free agent from the 2023 draft class, which is looking pretty good. If you want to hear me talk more about that 2023 draft class, check out the video that I dropped earlier about that 2023 draft class and how underrated it is and how it might be a hidden gem for the Cleveland Browns going forward. But that is where the Browns are from an injury standpoint. Cedric Tillman being out means that they're going to have to go one body up. I wonder if this means that we see either Jamari Thrashmore or Kadarius Toney. My theory for what's going to happen with Cedric Tillman being out is that you move around. Well, you keep Jerry Judy where he is because he's been very productive. So you keep Jerry Judy in the slot where he's been productive. Maybe you put him out at the 1 every once in a while. You do that same rotation with Judy. I think you mix in maybe Jalen, like maybe they go Darden, right? Maybe they mix in Darden and then let Thrash kind of take over some of the smaller stuff. That would make the most sense to me since Thrash is a rookie. Maybe they might just go full in and just let Thrash play Cedric Tillman's position, or you might see more Kadarius Toney in here. I don't know what the plan is with Kadarius Toney and this team, but maybe they'll do something there. With Jared Wills out and obviously DeJuan Jones out for the rest of the year, Jermaine Ifedi will be the left tackle, and let's just get used to that being the left tackle for the rest of the season, because I just don't think that Jed Wills is going to come out here and try to play again. I think he's quit on the team, is my guess on it. I don't know anything. That's my speculation on it. It just feel like a dude that's quit on the team. Like, am I wrong? Let me know in the comment section if I'm wrong on my analysis on Jed Wills feeling like a dude who's about to quit on the team. I think the biggest storyline in this game is that, well, this is a Jerry Judy revenge game. He gets a chance to go in Denver against his former team in a week where the Browns aren't going to have that many wide receiver options, so he's going to get a ton of targets. He gets to show out and show them that they made a mistake for moving on from him. It'll be interesting to see, because I remember Jerry Judy had that big controversy like stew up last year, and I believe it was on Monday Night Football because like Steve Smith was there, and that's when the whole thing about him and Mark Schlereth got mainstream. And basically, last time he played on Monday Night Football, he had his character attacked pretty harshly by the Monday Night Football crew and the people associated with the Monday Night Football crew, like Mark Schlereth. So huge opportunity here for Jerry Judy to kind of show that he's not just the guy, that he can be a productive player, that he can be the productive player that he showed himself to be in the snow last week for the Cleveland Browns. Now, it might be difficult for Jerry in this game because there's going to be nobody to take attention off. They're probably going to double him up. Maybe that opens up David Njoku, and if David starts to get going, then you have something going with this passing game. Maybe the plan for the Browns isn't to throw that much, given how good this Denver secondary has been, right? They got Pat Surtain. They got some players in that secondary. So I don't know how often the Browns are really going to want to throw into that. Like, maybe this is a game where you cross your fingers, hope that you can run the ball and block as well as you did last week and get things going with Nick Chubb. Maybe off a 10-day break, like that's going to be good for an offensive line that's aged, right? Getting that extra rest in, maybe that'll be good for him. I don't know. But I don't know if this is a game where Jerry Judy or Jameis Winston decide to throw like 45, 50 passes. Who knows how this thing goes. I think the key to this game for the Cleveland Browns will be this. One, Myles Garrett, need another big game from him, right? Need him to get pressure early. Need him to continue to wreak havoc on that Broncos offensive line and make Bo Nix make pressure decisions, right? I don't trust this secondary for the Cleveland Browns to hold up if they have to cover more than 3 seconds, right? I think they do a good job in man cover and when they get pressure in short coverage situations, but where this secondary has issues is in extended play situations. That's their biggest problem. They don't communicate well at times. They're not great in zone, and they take too many chances on the front end to make plays that could open up things on the back end. That's just the nature of the beast. That's how the Browns play. And you've noticed the games where the Browns defense looks like the Browns defense are also games where like coincidentally, and it's not a coincidence, that the defensive line is cooking, right? Because all of this that the Browns try to do, everything that the Browns try to do is predicated on the defensive line being able to get pressure. How they like to cover, the defensive line needs to get pressure, right? All of this stuff does not matter if you cannot penetrate with your defensive line. If the Browns are able to do that and slow Bo Nix down and get the score of this game down, then I do think they have a serious chance to win this game, especially if they can get the run game with Nick Chubb going in this one. But that's going to be the big question mark for them. What kind of run game are they going to get? What kind of production from Nick Nick Chubb are they going to get? Nick Chubb has not been the most consistent since coming off this injury. I think that's a temporary thing, but I think that it's still going on right now. I think he'll be better next season, but right now, it's a question if he'll show up, right? It's a question about if your interior offensive line is going to show up. Last week, Wyatt Teller was awesome. Joe Bitonio was awesome. Ethan Posick was awesome. Like, all those guys in the interior played up to their potential last week. If we get that again, the Browns are going to be able to move this ball. They're going to be able to run the ball, and they're going to be able to run play action behind it. Jameis is going to be able to take some deep shots. He might get Jerry Judy involved, and we might be able to get rolling on offense. But if we cannot win in the interior, then we're leaving it up to like Jermaine Ifedi. He's not going to be a factor in the run game. And it's just a bad situation to be in if you're the Cleveland Browns. So that's the main thing for me. Can we win on both lines of scrimmages, interior offensive line and the Browns defensive line? If they can win on both those fronts, they'll be fine. They'll have chances to win this game. Obviously, you want Dustin Hopkins to be better this week. The high altitude of Denver should be a positive factor for him, but I don't know what's been up with him. And every time we've seen him this year, he's looked really shaky. And this might be the shakiest year for every kicker in the NFL, but he's been a part of that as well. He's been shaky. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with Dustin Hopkins. With the Browns play Monday Night Football, that's kind of a primer on what you need to know. I'm going to have more stuff dropping as the day goes on, but let me know what you think about this game in the comment section down